Hey guys, we finished round 8 last night. We got off to a kind of late start today, so sorry for the late post for the video. But
Oh
I
man,
think,
yeah, this one round a day is just exhausting.
yeah, I mean, it
Jeez.
does get pretty tiring though. I mean, after 8 days, it's a little tiring. But I think the lesson that we learned yesterday that chess is hard.
Yeah, it's like Gary said in one of his interviews. It's like if you live the same year every year, you can't call it a life. I feel like I'm living the same day every day. It's just like
Well, I mean, like I feel like each game is a different story,
mm,
and that's one of the benefits of playing in an open. But
it's very true.
I
Yeah.
definitely had like a huge dose of medicine yesterday
Mhm.
with my game, and I'm not sure about you exactly. It just seemed like you had a long
Yeah, I
game.
had a hard-fought draw with Grandmaster Magesh Panchanathan, who's a friend of mine. Actually worked together before doing commentary for chess.com. And that game was very interesting. It was very challenging, but there was a lot of interesting lines. Pretty dry, but I think you guys will enjoy that. Actually, we had a comment earlier today on round 5 when we were going over that long endgame you had, the rook endgame. And some guy wrote that endgame was much more enjoyable than he expected. So he really actually liked our analysis. It
Oh,
was
okay. Well,
very
that's good to
practical.
hear. I hadn't seen that comment, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you enjoying my traumatic experience in round 5. And I hope, for my own sake, that I won't have another video like that. But who knows? I mean, tournaments like these, they get tiring. I mean, that was just 10 moves of complacency there. So my game, unfortunately, I wound up losing to a much lower rated player, but I actually knew going in that he's like way underrated. He was 3 out of 7 before going and playing me, and one of the
Right.
losses doesn't really count because it was to his brother, so that's not fair. So he was 3 out of 6, and everybody he had played was over 2,050. I was actually the lowest rated guy he played,
Mhm.
and after beating me, he's now at plus 115 points for B-Day.
It's a lot.
What can I say? I thought that he did a really good job preparing for me in the opening. I think I snuck out of there with an advantage, but the damage it did to my clock and like just the general like the mental tiredness that I had by the end of the game, I actually wound up dropping that game. But what can I say? When I was 1,700 and beating on these 2,000s, it was like exciting, and it's like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Well, when you're 2,000, you get the opposite experience
Yeah,
because
she's on the other foot.
you're providing the entertainment for the 1,700s. I mean, you don't want to, but it's part of chess. So it's this never-ending cycle of
Yeah.
giving everyone points.
I feel that way. When I was like a young kid and I was playing someone older than me,
Mhm.
I'd be like, yeah, this guy, he's part of my story. I have to overcome him. And now I'm like part of the kid's story.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's the pressure about playing down every time. I mean, you
Yeah.
can say like, oh, it's going to be an easy win, but I mean, okay, the 1,700 that I lost to, I thought he played like a 2,000 level,
Mhm.
and then I would say I'd go so far to say that the guy I played in round 4 and won, if he hadn't been so careless towards the end of the game, I mean, he played a decent game too up until he started letting this G5 stuff get to his head. So I mean, it's part of chess, it's part of life, and fortunately enough, if I can just make National Master, I'll never have to worry about ratings again, and I can just give all my points away, and
Right.
it'll all be okay.
Well, let's
So,
get into it.
let's get into it. Let's start with my game today. I thought my game was interesting, and there were a lot of problems posed. So he played e4, and I'm sure as you recall, in my round 2 game, I won with e5, and it was this Scotch line that we had played.
Right.
Something like this goes here, and I actually noticed when I was looking at my opponent, he had played the Scotch since he was 8 years old, and this was actually one of the lines he had played. I thought about going into this, and I think if I'd known the opening that was going to come from this game, I would have. But I had a game like this tournament already, so he could have found out if he wanted to. And then I also had a game in Budapest that started like this: so knight c3, knight here, 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 takes, goes here, and bishop at d4. I mean, this is good for black too. But I mean, okay, this kid has been playing the Scotch for as long as he's been playing chess, and maybe he knows something I don't, and that's not a discussion I want to get into. And I knew he was having a hot tournament, so I didn't want to get into this argument today. And I thought I have one game in the Sicilian with a database, and it was a bad game, so maybe he thinks I'll never try it again. What the heck? Let's go for it. We're going to play c5. And of course, I used to play the hyper-accelerated Sicilian all the time, but after some tough lessons last year at the World Open, I decided, okay, you know what? Maybe we need to learn a more solid approach. But okay, yesterday I wanted to win, and I don't think I could be blamed for that. So knight f3, g6, d4, and this is all I'd expected this because he has this in his database. Wait, no, he played knight c3 first. Of course, any move order is really
bad
fun.
move, actually. I mean, it's well known that c4 here is your reputation.
Well, okay, reputation is harsh. I mean, like, if I knew he was playing rook c5, I would be playing e5. But because I knew he would transpose to main line, I figured there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah, of course the emergency bind is strong, but I mean, okay, I mean against players under 2000, I don't think I've ever lost
Yeah, it's still playable.
to the emergency bind because usually you just gain your space and then what do you do? And then even lower rated players like to trade this bishop for this bishop, which seems okay because of this hole, but in actuality, look at all these weak squares that white's created on the dark squares. So it's a rich game. I would have considered it, but probably would have played e5 at that point. But okay, bad move I think is a little bit of an overstatement. Bishop e3 was played, and okay, at this point I was expecting, based on his database, he would either play bishop e2, which is not a good move. I actually have a video for this on chessopeningsexplained.com, or bishop c4, which is mainline, and I was going to play my queen a5 vintage move, and I scored really well with this. In fact, the best win I've ever had, rating-wise, was in this line. I played a really nice game. So this is what I had ready in minimal prep. I hadn't prepped anything else, and of course he takes here, which is subpar. But he plays a critical line, so e5 here, and okay, the idea is that if he plays f4, which is main line, I'm playing knight h6, and then my knight comes to f5, and then he's hesitant to play moves like g4 because now he's opening up his king, and with this half-open b file, it's not so easy to castle queenside, I don't think. Okay, so he played bishop here, and for me this is a blast of the past, because I've only had one game ever in this line, and that was in 2014 at the Virginia Closed State Championship against my Virginia rival at the time, Saad Al-Hariri. We were both around 1900. We had like 6 games within 6 months, so it was an exciting time. He played this against me, and I just remember I played knight h6, and I was very close to losing out of the opening. Of course, the theoretical move is to play f6, so I whipped this out immediately, made my opponent think I know the theory, but of course I've forgotten all of this because A, I wasn't expecting this opening, and B, no one really plays this anymore.
Yeah.
Now, if I recall correctly, I think f4 is the most straightforward line, and I think I would have figured my way out. But he played queen e2, which is something I've never seen before. Like, even if when I was studying this line, I would have to say, like, I'm not familiar with this. But okay, White's idea is a little bit obvious. He wants to play for this queen c4 move. And when he played this move really quickly, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this could be prep. This might just be prep. It's an interesting move. I don't think it's the best move in the position. Practically, I think it poses a lot of problems. And I think the road that I went down in the game was exactly what he wanted. Now, I don't think I have to take this pawn like I did in the game. I think I could have just made a waiting move. Maybe I could play a move like a5 with the idea of bishop a6. I think this was a reasonable option.
a5 is asking to be played here.
But I thought, okay, this isn't so bad because I thought I have queen a5 here. Now, I think a5 here is even stronger, by the way, because now he's wasted 1-2 moves with the queen, and when I play bishop a6, I'm going to trade off white square bishops and everything's okay. But I thought, okay, queen a5 would be strong. And the idea here is simple. My counterplay is pretty straightforward. Should he play a move like bishop g3, I think I'm already better. So he can't do this. And I thought if he played a move like bishop d4, now this isn't so bad anymore. I can get ready to castle. I have to play a move like bishop b7 first. But this bishop is a little bit awkward. Maybe I can play e5 at the right moment. And I have a game. I thought probably equal, but complicated. And, against a low-rated player, this is
a very unusual structure.
But he whipped out this move immediately.
f4.
I think I went to go watch your game, and I came back, and he had already played this, and like a minute had gone off of my clock, because I expected him to think here, because I figured we're out of theory or something. But he played f4 immediately, and I'm like, oh wait, this guy's prep. This is not good. Now, at this point, I started to realize this was actually a bad move, because it's actually really hard to find like a good move for black. So, for example,
what about d6?
d6, I calculated this really long line. And I thought I was actually going to be doing okay. Okay, so queen f3, right? Takes. And I thought, okay, if takes, we can't be doing so badly. I mean, we're probably worse, but it's not that bad. But then I saw this move, easy development, bishop to c4, and you can stop looking at this line. And so this is just simply not possible. d5 is even worse because then you don't even get the exchange. And then I even was looking at e6 at one point because I thought, okay, well, if he plays bishop d6, I'm actually doing great, but this is just asking for too much trouble. I think even b4 is a considerable option.
Well, at least you can castle.
I can castle, but I mean, look at how many weak squares I've created. This is now a really weak pin. G4, g5 is not so unreasonable anymore. I thought I'm just giving white a whole bunch of resources when I have myself just weakened I've ruined the potential for this bishop, and I actually haven't improved my position too much. So bishop b7 I think is the best move, which is what I played. But I think this is a lot already about my position. Okay, so here he queenside castled immediately, and okay, I thought I would be okay because at first I thought, oh, I can play d6, and then we go here, and then I play d5, and I get a better version of the position that I thought I would have because maybe I can target this f4 pawn. But then I actually realized here that this is probably also prep. I think I'm busted.
Ooh, wow, it's scary.
I mean, even if it works out for black, there's no way I'm playing against this with a lower rated player. Like only black is losing in this position.
Yeah, that looks really scary.
I'm pretty sure white has a win. I stopped looking as soon as I realized this is a possibility. And when you start looking at the other moves in the position, you quickly realize that the only move that you can play is d5. I think that this is the point. And so at this point, I'm just like, well, I just welcomed my opponent's prep.
Oh, he also has, queen e6 check instead of rook takes.
Yes, this was also a possibility.
I mean, that's probably just winning on the spot.
Yeah, I saw this too. King f8, and I'm pretty sure he can take this
bishop
way.
Comes to c4.
Bishop c4.
I mean, he takes with check on d6.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then king f7, bishop c4. Yeah.
Yeah, this is immediately winning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this is all prep. Probably.
So 1700's got some teeth.
Well, I mean, okay, so he's from Canada where they don't have as many FIDE rated tournaments, and I already saw that his national Canadian rating or something was already like 1860. Mm-hmm. And when you're performing at like a 2200 rating level, that number means nothing to you.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Canadians. They're all underrated because they have not as many chess players up there, so they're all playing against each other, and just through math, that means all the ratings are going to be lower than their actual strength.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of two things. So for the first one, I was coaching the 2014 under 1200 national championship winning team, and the reason why we were able to win is all of our players played rated games against each other. So they would go win a Scotch tournament, come back, and just read the points basically. But they would have all these hard fighting games, and I would say that when we went to that tournament, our top 4 players were all playing somewhere 15 to 1600 rating level in an under 1200 section. Right. So we had 3 players finish in the top 12 and 4 players finish in the top 50 in that tournament. And then we won the National High School Chess Championships. And that was one thing I realized. But for me, this was also kind of like a coming back to earth, because throughout this trip, I started 1882. I'm probably going to be about 2060 after my tournament in Budapest is rated. I have no idea what I'll be after this tournament. Maybe I'll gain, maybe I'll lose. But I was starting to have like that small little thought, like, hey, maybe FM isn't so unreasonable. Mm-hmm. But this is a reminder when you come back to North America, hey, these little kids want your points. Now, I actually thought the point of his prep was to play this with queen to a4. Mm-hmm. And this is why it took me so long to play d5, because I was actually worried here that, okay, if I play the move like queen b6 or queen d8, now this move knight takes d5 is really strong, using the pin against the king. So this c6 pawn is actually useless. And I was actually really worried about this endgame. I'm curious to see what you think. Maybe it's not so bad. So bishop c8 is a possibility, and I saw this, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can swindle here. But after bishop c8, I think just simply knight d7, I should be equalizing. And I wonder if my opponent knew this too, because he didn't play queen a4, which I thought was the most natural move. He played queen b3, and so immediately I played queen b6, and okay, this is a much better endgame for me, so I have no problems here. Yeah. And, it's his turn. He immediately plays queen a3. And I'm like, wow, this is like move 16. This kid has spent like 2 minutes maybe. He has more time than what he started with. This is impressive. Now, the idea here is that when I castle, he's not going to take this pawn immediately. I think if he does this, now I have this, I have a great position. I think the point of this prep is to play knight a4. And so if this knight comes into c5, I could get into a lot of trouble. And if he plays a move like queen to a5, I'm starting to, moving into the queen side, but
bishop c3.
Bishop c3, my position's really not making sense anymore. I think here I saw queen to c7, I'm hitting f4, but I think he could even play a move like g3, better. So this is a problem. So here I realized knight a4 is a really strong move, and I played this move intermezzo. I castled. And the idea is that now he doesn't have knight a4 because queen takes a3 would neutralize everything. So he takes his pawn. Now, it's really important to, okay, if we ignore the fact that this bishop is hanging, there's a nice little tactic here if I were to play rook e8, because he's bishop takes f6, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, no, what was I looking at? There was another line. But the idea was that he takes on f6 and the queen is hanging. Maybe it wasn't rook e8, but okay, maybe it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because this bishop is hanging, but it's just a common theme. Oh, this is what it was. So after queen takes e7, I played with like bishop c8, now this is winning. This is the line. This is just a loss, that moves a piece. So it was important not to hang this. I saw this in advance. I played rook f7. He goes back to a3. And then, so here I played knight to g4. I walk away from the board. It's move 19. I felt like I was in computer prep for half the game. I'm like, wait, I have the best position I've had all game. So I wonder, back in this position, when he plays this move queen to a3, if this is like a semi-refutation for white's advantage. Maybe he didn't think I would find this, or, when 1700s, or I don't want to generalize because this kid's probably much better than that. When under 2400 rated players use an engine, I feel like it's really easy to say like, oh, this isn't human, or oh, this is human, but you fail to look at the natural moves. I didn't really feel like I played the best moves in this opening, but all of a sudden I have a really good position against something that, more or less came across as prepped.
Mm.
I mean, you don't play queen e2 and move 6 and then whip out the rest of the moves like it's nothing. So I was actually really happy with myself with the position that I got. So after rook f7, queen a3, and g4, I have all this counterplay now. And he thinks for a really long time. And so
I think that just comes from inexperience with preparation. Is that number one, just because a computer gives you 0.4 doesn't mean you're necessarily better in a practical chess game, right? And also they might think like, oh, no one will ever find this move, and then it's like most natural move in the position, right, if you're considering what your opponent's actually going to do.
I mean, maybe he thought, I don't know how deep this was actually prepped, but like if they got up to here, because this was played really quickly, if I play this move queen e3, and maybe he thought like the queen's like a no man's land and it's going to get trapped. I mean, it's the only natural move in the position.
Or maybe he just thought you wouldn't castle and give up the pawn.
Well, okay, I don't think. I mean, I don't think you even need an engine to realize in this position it's not so great for white. I mean, this is the first thing I looked at because now queen a3 knight g4 I have a better version than before because my queen can always come in. As we'll see, the queen on e3 does cause a little bit of trouble. So queen e3, king b1, castles takes, rook f7, queen a3, knight g4. I think he played the best move, which is a take. But now we see that I've kind of crept in. So he plays this move bishop d3. There's a little trick here in that he can play this move. He's not losing material, so I just played rook on 88. So now, should I play knight f2? There's no here because I can just take, and win.
Mm-hmm.
So he played a move that made me think for a long time and really pushed me into time trouble, considering like the fact where I moved 22. This move. And so the idea is simple. This is the most natural move on the board because now you get the bishop, and this bishop is eventually going to become a monster. So I thought this was a good idea, but then I realized this idea is something that you want. And if I trade here, I think I'm not that much better anymore. I think, yes, I have a slight edge, but I don't really think that it's so easy to, wait, not here. It's so easy to say that black is playing for the edge. Well, if we take, I mean, the problem is at the end of the line, like, oh, wait, am I hanging mate? Yeah, I'm hanging mate. But the idea is that he's going to play a move like queen c3. Oh, this is it. Queen c3 and then rook f1.
Yeah, queen e5.
Queen e5?
You love endgames.
I love endgames, but I mean, I love endgames where I have a chance at winning. I feel like this is closer to equal than winning. I mean, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, and I'd have rather gone for this. But I think the position I got in the game was still great, too. Mm-hmm. Now, I was really sad the next tactic didn't work, because if I could have played it, you would have been really proud of me in this video, I think. Rook takes f4. And the idea is not to trade. I think if I trade, he's doing fine, because rook f1 is coming. But the point was to play here. If he takes, I'm checkmating him, obviously. So we'll put that on the board for you guys, 91, and then mate. So this is not an option, so he has to play this move 91. Now I have to get my rook back. And I thought I was winning here, because this rook covers the f8 square. And if he checks, I believe the move I was looking at was king to g8. Mm-hmm. And now the point is he's going to lose this piece here, and I'm going to go up a piece. And so I almost played this. And then when I was double-checking my moves after 91 here, I found a really great move for white. And I think I'm lost.
Bishop e2.
Bishop e2 exclam. And the point is that I can never take this bishop because now he is queen to f8 mate. Now, I don't know if he would have seen this, but I think I'm just lost in this position. Because now when I play this move knight to f6, my queen is in no man's land. His pieces are coming in. I mean, already this is like, I don't even have to calculate. I can tell that this is quite strong.
What about knight e3?
Knight e3? Okay. Well, okay, wait a second here. I found a whole line here. Okay, I already think queen c3 first is a worthy insertion.
Say king g8.
King g8, and then I think we can just play a move like. Well, I mean, okay, what's wrong with king f1 to begin with?
I don't know. Take on d1.
Take on d1. This isn't that bad of a.
Well, I don't want to play rook e1 though.
The problem is the queen is just off sides.
Take the g2 pawn.
Take the g2 pawn. Are you getting mated?
I hope not.
It feels like you're getting mated. Because how are you defending queen f7? This bishop e2 move is really strong. And once I noticed it, and I've been calculating for like 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is no good.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And I figured it'd be more practical to try to find a better resource. Because in this position, like, look at Black's activity. It feels like there should be so much. I think I made the best practical move, and that was to play c5 after about another 10-minute thing. Okay. So I spent like 20 minutes on this move.
I like it. Active play.
The idea is that I have two different pawn pushes he has to constantly consider. Number one, okay, tactically, if he plays queen takes a7, he's lost, because now both pieces are hit. So this is losing. But, okay, this is going to trap the bishop, and this is going to activate my bishop.
Yeah, I like c5.
So c5 I thought was the most practical triangle position. I think it's the best move, considering everything. So now here in this position, he played the move knight d1. And now the next couple moves are going to look like I'm going backwards, but in reality I'm regrouping. I better play queen to e7. If I play anything else, he's going to play queen to c3 and then pick up this pawn or force a trade of queens. So for example, if I play queen d2, I think white is going to be probably better. Because the idea is that if I go here, he comes back or trades.
But you have d4 again.
I have d4, but he's going to take here.
No, like without c4.
If he plays d4 here, I'm not sure if I can argue that I'm better. I mean, I'm
Bishop g2.
Oh, bishop g2. Oh, maybe. Oh, so I must have overlooked this time.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, I wanted to keep the queens on the board. I thought, whoops, knight d1, queen e7. I had a much more sinister idea because I want to make him play b3. So what happened next? Okay, so here he played h3, and these moves happened very quickly because, okay, I'm starting to get in time trouble. And I noticed, and this is probably instructive for any parents, chess parents watching, whenever his older brothers or his mom would come watch, he would spend more time. And so I think subconsciously, even though none of them knew it, that the mom and the brothers were on my side. They were helping me.
Right.
That's one of the things with young players is I think when they're playing high-rated people, they're still self-conscious about the calculation. And when you've got someone watching you, you're not just trying to beat your opponent, you're also trying to please the viewers.
Right.
And I think that this was something.
I, on the other hand, if someone I know is watching my game, I'd blunder just to show them.
Exactly. So here he played b3 to stop c4. And so, okay, I went into the tank again. I played this move to block out this knight, to activate this bishop. He played here. Now I played this move. Now I think this move is a nice positional win. I'm pretty sure I'm just better now. It's really hard for white to find moves. This knight is coming in here. I'm pretty sure even though I have a pawn down, I'm just better. But this move can't be wrong. He played here, I played here, and I just have a domination. Wait, no, I can't do. If I play this way, actually, let's put this on the board. There's an important note here that he could play queen takes a7 and get away. Because the whole point of allowing queen takes a7 is I could play rook to a8 while having this queen protect this pawn. But now with the queen sidetracked, I'd have to play king f7 onwards. So I have to insert this move. Takes. And now I feel pretty good about my position. He played this move bishop to c4. And I think black is still better despite being down a pawn. Now I do have some problems with rook f7. Let me see. I'm trying to remember a line that my coach suggested where I sacked my queen.
I was going to say, it seems ripe for a queen sack.
Takes. Oh, yeah, this was it. At the end of the line, I kept on missing that I have rook to e8, e1, because I kept on trying to take this bishop, because that's an easy forcing move. But I'm pretty sure that after a move like here, it's just going to be busted.
This is great for him.
And the nice thing is this bishop actually hurts him, because now he can't take with check. If he can take with check, he's better. But okay, my move in the game also isn't bad either, bishop d5. And I thought he should just take and accept the fact he's a pawn up in a slightly worse endgame, and he's got good drawing chances. He played knight b2, and this was the critical point of the game. I'm much better right now, and literally any move I make would be decisive, except for the move I made, because I thought I had a winning try, and it actually turned out to be completely losing. Okay, I did something that I know a lot of other people do. I thought about rook f8. This was my second candidate move. And I realized I'm just better.
Yeah, that looks really strong.
Because now this rook can never leave the back rank. You know,
so show them rook takes f8.
Okay.
We automatically recapture, right?
We've made. Well, actually, maybe not made. Made is a little bit strong because he's queen f1. But okay, I trade and pick up the rook. And we're not playing chess anymore. So this is an idea. Okay, he plays a move like rook to g1. But the point is now this rook gets in on the f file.
Yes,
it's just positional domination. Yeah. I saw this. I saw that I'm completely winning. But I thought I had more force, and I was getting impatient because keep in mind this whole game has been kind of cagey. Yes, I've been a pawn down. I've had some initiative. But I can see that I'm going in an endgame. I have limited time. I just want to win. I want to win and get out of here. And I was already in the wrong mentality because I saw this line, and I thought I'm just crushing because I thought after this move I can just bring in my queen. You know, I'm gonna destroy him. But I missed queen b2 completely. And at this point, you know, I had like 9 minutes left. The last 7 minutes to make time control. But like mentally, everything is just thrown off. So for example, I think I played king h7. He takes, I take. He played queen c3, and now I blundered terribly. Actually, I played this move queen e2. I saw all of this, of course. I'm not stupid. What I didn't see, so I played here. If I play king g5, he has queen f6. I was like, oh, he has no checks, and checkmating him next turn. But I forgot he has h4, and it's time to resign because now I am not even just losing my queen, I'm losing my queen and getting checkmated.
Mm.
So yeah, this kind of shows what happens when you lose the thread of the game right before time control, because I mean I was much better for most of this game. I mean he played really well, to his credit. I mean he didn't. I think it would have been really easy to collapse. I think for a normal 1700 like we had at around 2 and 4.
Right.
But yeah, I mean this was a lot of losses here, dealing with opening prep, finding some holes, time management. But then at the end, you know, right before time control, I have 9 more moves to make move 40. If I play this move Rook F8, it's a completely different narrative. I'm probably at least coming out with a draw.
I
think I would win, but I mean, like, you know, I have to take into consideration I'm low on time with 9 moves, so I'm at least
you probably went home and like, oh, I won with prep.
Yeah, I mean okay, the prep definitely was a huge factor, because this is why I'm doing so badly on time. This and the fact that I had to spend forever to find this move C5.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think C5 it was worth spending all this time looking for this move. But just a combination of things and time management. I mean, I felt pretty confident in my calculation. It was just like there's so many different things to look at. And when you're playing against something and you're not sure if it's computer prep, you don't know when or when not to take your chances, because you don't know what the computer eval would be or how deep he's got this prepped. But I mean, I would have to say, okay, if I were to lose a game to a low rated player, much better to lose like this than any other way, because at least I'm going to learn something now instead of just hanging something or just like getting blown off the board. I felt like I gave him the game. He's probably got something to learn too, which is good. But okay, this means that I'm 3 out of 8 minus 2 with 2 games left, so I have exactly 2 chances to make this score an even score, which would be a dream for me, I think. But
I got to finish strong.
Yeah, I got to finish this tour strong, but it also means I can have some fun in these last 2 games. No pressure to win money or anything.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a decent game. I mean, I feel like this game and the last game, okay, I lost 2 in a row. It's not ideal, but you know, the way I lost is respectable.
Well, it's all about the journey, guys. You got to learn from your games. It doesn't matter what the result is in the tournament you're playing in. Chess is a long-term journey, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, I've been doing this for over 13 years. It would be nice to be a little bit stronger, but you pay the price when you're 1400 for 4 years without doing any tactics. But yeah, I mean, you have to have games like this to get better, I think.
Yeah. Well, just keep learning from it.
You want to show us your game?
Yeah. I had a pretty interesting strategic affair, like I mentioned, with Grandmaster Magesh Panchanathan. Okay, so I played d4. So the opening here was pretty interesting because it had a lot to do with my preparation. Knight f3, he played Queen's Indian, as expected. It's a pretty narrow repertoire. Bishop b7, bishop g2. Okay, here he surprised me with bishop b4 check, which is normal, but I wasn't expecting. So just for comparison, the line I thought we would get is bishop e7, castles, castles. Now here white has a couple moves. d5 is the old main line. Kasparov used to sack a pawn this way and play knight h4 and get a lot of compensation because knight f5. Then the main line was knight c3 for a while, where black plays knight e4, bishop d2. Actually, my coach, Akobian, from a couple of years ago, won a nice game in this line. Actually, he's won many games in this line, but he beat Magesh in this exact position. But I was planning on playing the trendy line, which is rook e1, which basically means knight e4 doesn't come with tempo, so there's all kinds of knight d2 tricks. And it's kind of a useful waiting move just to decide, okay, what's black going to do with the d pawn, what's he going to do with the knight, and then white decides what he does with his knight.
It's amazing how you can kind of see how white's tries for initiative have progressed historically.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the key to understanding the lines, just to understand, okay, what was played in the past, why did that go out of fashion, and what is the new idea, right? It's very hard to understand this move rook e1 without looking at why knight c3 is, for example, playable for black now, or I should say more than playable, just equalizing.
But of course, bishop b4 is also a good line because it forces you to commit a piece to either c3 or d2, just like in some of these
bishop b4 check makes a lot of sense. So one line I wanted to show here, for example, if black plays knight a6, which is one of the main lines, now white argues that this knight is misplaced in some variations, plays knight c3, knight e4, and normally we play queen c2 or bishop d2 here so that we don't have to double our pawns when we take, but here the main line is actually bishop f4. I actually had a game like this against Josh Verdell that my opponent probably saw, it's in the database, and now white is perfectly content with this trade because now the knight on a6 looks kind of silly because our pawns are sort of dominating.
Typically in these kind of like structures, especially like in the Samish Nimzo, from what I understand, like you want to play like bishop a6 and c5 and like put pressure on.
Yeah, black wants to play
pawn.
against the pawns with like c5, put the bishop on a6, knight comes to c6.
Right, but with the knight on a6 now, it's going to take more time. And
yeah, here c5, I play d5, and yeah, white is happy. And the rook is well placed. I'm pushing e4. So white is doing fine there. It's a theoretical line. Black is also okay. And then, Luke Harmon, he played this move a5 here against the Kobian, I think last year in Chicago Open. And I thought it was very interesting. It's like, okay, he's improving the pawn before putting his knight on a6. I believe Var played bishop f4 here, knight a6, knight c3, knight e4, and h4. I'm pretty sure this was their game. And then after takes, they got an interesting position. White got a big space advantage. Black was solid. Eventually, they drew. Not sure exactly if white was pushing or not, but that's what happened. So I had this game in mind, and that's important to describe my my thinking process for this game, because he gives bishop b4 check. I play bishop d2, which is the main line. Now he could play bishop e7 here. Kind of the point is that he put my bishop on a bad square. Normally I want to fianchetto play bishop b2. But this is more common in the bishop a6 lines.
Right.
Here it doesn't even make sense, because after castles, we get the same theoretical position, except knight e4, white has already played bishop d2. So white is just a tempo up. Yeah. So here it doesn't really make sense to pull the bishop back, but he plays a5, which is another piece of theory. c5 is also common, and sometimes black just takes, which is pretty solid. Okay, I'm basically out of book here. I mean, I've looked at some games, but I don't really remember any specific theories, so I'm on my own. I castled. He castles. And now white has a choice to, we don't want to take and give black an open a file. That's a good structural change for black. White typically either plays knight c3 here or moves the bishop. If I play knight c3, I think we get something very drawish. Takes, knight e4. I don't want to play bishop e1. He's going to take here, play d6, knight d7. Black is super duper solid. So bishop f4, bishop g5 are basically the critical tries. And then black always pulls his bishop back. Otherwise, he runs into, for example, if he plays like d6, white has all kinds of tricks with c5 and then a3, and the bishop gets caught. So bishop g5 here, bishop e7. I was considering this, but then I thought, okay, if knight c3, again, knight e4, and we're just trading too many pieces here. Assuming there's no tactics, I think once black develops, he's going to be more or less fine.
Right. Generally in these structures, especially if black can trade off the light squared bishops, it's really hard for white to get an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, black is just so solid. So I played bishop f4. I actually had a clever idea in mind. He pulls his bishop back to e7, and guess what move I played?
Okay, so I guess your point is, so if he plays knight c3, he's going to play knight e4, so this is exactly what you don't want to play. So either rook e1 or queen c2 probably.
Rook e1, yeah. Queen c2, I think, is an idea, but bishop e4 I always have to have in mind. But that is a thematic move. So yeah, I played rook e1, and now I'm trying to figure out, okay, so we got this move and this move compared to the line I was preparing. And then I was like, well, I mean, it has to be fine for white, right? Like, the bishop almost always comes to f4. a5 is useful, but basically getting the same line. And if he plays knight a6 here, like I expected, well, this is the Velody Jacobian game after h4. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm totally fine with that. That's what I prepared. But then he just plays d5, which is a very, very natural move. Now, if we go back to the other line and say, okay, what happens after black plays d5 in this line here, after rook e1, d5, here white almost always takes. Black takes with the pawn. White plays knight c3. Black has a couple of choices here. I think knight a6 is the most common move. And then white has his choice of setups, either bishop f4 or b3, bishop b2. Black will play c5, white will keep the pawn on d4, and we'll get this interesting position where whenever black takes, he's left with an isolated queen pawn, and whenever white takes, he gives black a chance to get hanging pawns. And so we get a dynamic structure there, which I was ready to play. I'm pretty comfortable in those positions. But in the game after d5, I didn't think much, and I just took instantly, because I thought after he takes back, I play knight c3, and I've already got the bishop to f4, which is useful, but a5 in this structure actually hurting black, because he oftentimes wants the pawn on a6 to stop knight b5. So now whenever he plays, let's say knight a6, I'll play rook c1, c5. My knight gets this beautiful home on the b5 square, and I think white is very much better here.
Right.
Get e3, and then I just have a grip on d4. And having the b5 square is just so useful here for white. So, I mean, I feel very, very happy here. And then, of course, he takes with the knight, and I realized, oops, my bishop is hanging on f4.
Right. Well, generally, like these queens in game kind of structures, you rarely want to play e takes d5 unless there's some sort of dynamic justification.
Well, no, e d5 is the main move. Here it's...
Well, in this specific position, but there's some other positions where the pawn on a5 is on a7, and it's considered less than savory because your bishop's on b7 being blocked in by the pawn.
Oh, well, I mean, the problem is that if my bishop's not on f4, white just gets e4 very quickly.
Right.
So that's why they normally don't take with the knight. But here, because he gets the tempo, then it's considered much better for black. So I haven't looked at this yet, so I don't know exactly whether I should take on d5. I think knight e5 here makes a lot of sense, just to not take and then just develop knight c3, and then we get kind of a funky Catalan. Like maybe he plays c5 here, knight c3 or dc, and we'll get some kind of position. It's hard to say what's going to happen here. I think things still have to be developed. But probably he's not happy that he's played this a5 move, because I think
probably
he also always wants the option to put his pawn on a6.
But I think here he does have the plan of maybe playing queen c8 and then d4.
Yeah, it's just very concrete. Like queen c8, I think queen b3 is an option just to hit the bishop. So I'm really not sure. Or maybe I can just take on d5, because I think I have too many on here. So I don't know. I mean, against DC, you can also consider taking with the bishop to keep his structure better, and this might be more active. In fact, I think this is probably what he would have done. But then maybe knight c3, and I don't know. The game still needs to develop.
Right.
But it was kind of a bit of a brain fart on my end, because I played CD very quickly, just assuming he's going to play the ED5 that they always play. But of course he plays knight d5, so my bishop's hit. Now if my bishop was on c1, pawn on a7, this doesn't make sense for black. I just play e4, knight c3, and I'm in time to set up a good center. So here I have to play bishop d2. He played c5 right away.
So you mentioned these positions where white can play b3 and then bishop b2. So is bishop c1 like with the idea of b3? Is this worth any merit? Or?
I considered it. I thought things are probably just going to equalize because I felt like I was behind. For example, bishop f6, your move against Alistair Hill.
Well, can't you play e4 before playing b3?
Oh, right here?
e4 and then b3?
So e4, he goes back to f6 and he hits e4. So...
no knight c3?
Well, knight c3, then I think he can just take.
Yeah, but then you play either queen take. Well, I guess either takes is fine. But my idea is that you're going to put knight on b5 and play for e5.
Yeah, it's possible. Again, I always have this b5 square.
Well, I'm looking at d6 because if you can play e5 and knight b5 and then put a knight on d6, you're doing swell.
I mean, sometimes. Honestly, the e5 pawn can be a weakness too.
Right.
I wasn't sure, to be honest, about this kind of position.
Okay.
I definitely considered pushing e4, but I thought a lot of times the pawn is just a weakness, especially with the bishop on b7.
Yeah, I guess you always have to consider the white squared bishop trade.
Yeah, exactly. And then the pawn is like...
Right. So it would have been interesting, but no...
I'd rather have the pawn on e2. Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't sure. So if I didn't lose like two tempi, basically, bishop f4, bishop c1, a lot of times if I can just push d5 here, I'm very, very happy. But here I think it doesn't really work out dynamically. At least it didn't seem that way during the game. So I definitely considered this, but I thought, like, okay, if I play here b3, bishop f6, bishop e2, knight c6 or something, I think black is going to be okay here because of the pressure.
Although here, don't you have e4?
Yeah, it probably plays, I don't know where he puts the knight. Let's say b4.
Okay, and on b5?
But then this hangs.
Oh wait, I'm trying to play d5 and then e5, but I guess it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be too bad. Well, I mean, can we play e5? Well, I mean, I don't want him to be able to play knight takes d5. I want to put him pawn on d5.
Yeah. But I just lost too many tempi in the opening.
No, this is not good.
So I play bishop d2 with the idea of meeting c5 with knight c3. And I thought actually black doesn't equalize here that easily. Because one line I was considering was if he takes here, for example, this might be the most natural continuation. CD, let's say knight d4 trades bishops. and the c6 and b5 squares are a problem. So you can't develop the knight because of knight c6. So common little trick here, the old in-between move.
There you go.
Knight e7 and resigns.
Was there a reason you weren't looking at queen takes d4?
Um,
Because I'd rather keep the light squared bishops on the board right now. Because there's a threat on g7.
No, I want to trade them off because then I get access to the light squares. So like,
yeah, but I'd rather do it with the queens off the board because I'm not spawning fewer pieces. I think the fun. So now you take.
Yeah, I mean this would make sense as well. I was thinking that we would just get something similar, like here, for example, takes. I thought queen d5 check, and I would strongly consider playing knight f3 here. And then when we trade queens, I actually thought this is very comfortable for white because I can again put the knight back on d4, b5, and c6. My bishop is very well placed on c3, and my rook is already ready to come to d7 if the knight is.
Knight e5 might even be the stronger idea because now you limit where black's going to go.
Yeah, I think he has to play knight a6, and then my rook gets access to d7. So actually, I was hoping for some kind of endgame like this. A lot of times, this happens in the Catalan, and it seems equal, but black already has weaknesses here, so this is something that white can press.
Right.
Those guys that want more info, there's a classic game, Ribley versus Karpov, where basically Zoltan Ribley is playing a Catalan against Karpov. They get basically this structure, but this bishop is already traded for the knight, so they have knight versus bishop, and he converts this like beautifully.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I always find that Ribley and Karpov have like these amazing positional games. There's Karpov versus Ribley, 1980.
Yeah.
Where it's even material, but white just puts all of his pieces. He puts a rook on a6, he puts a piece on b5, and he stops the a7, b6 pawn structure, and just locks it up. They always have really interesting games.
So that was one game when Ribley like returned the favor, so to speak.
Yes.
So I would suggest that's an absolute classic about how to play this kind of game. So I was hoping to get something like that. But of course he doesn't take on c3. If he plays bishop f6 here, then I take on c5 and his pawns are split. So I still thought I could play for something here because of the weakness of the b5 square. He played, I think, the best move, knight c6. Although after the game, he also pointed out that after takes and bishop takes, he's not obliged to take on d4. He can play knight c6 here, which is a much better version for black. But even here, we were thinking, okay, I take, bishop takes, queen a4, and the b5 square is still useful. And I think white is ahead in development here. I'm getting rook d1 quickly.
So I guess black's plan would be to play like queen c7, bishop a6, rook a d8.
Yeah, queen c7. Probably rook c1.
Yeah, this is getting annoying. I mean, the fact that you can always put a rook on the c1 file, it's going to be more meaningful than his rook on the c8 square.
Yeah. And who knows, one day I'll play queen g4, and I'll tickle his g7 pawn.
Well, I mean, the idea is, I guess we want to play rook on f d8, and then we can always play bishop f8, but if your rook's on c1, then tactically we now have all these problems.
Yeah, there's always knight e5 in the air.
Yeah.
But he played, I think, a better move, knight c6. And now this pawn on d4 is really unprotected. Oh, I'll tell you why I didn't consider trading queens earlier, I remember. Because he's going to take on d4 first. That's what I thought. Then I have to take, knight takes d4, he takes here, takes, trades bishops, and this is how we get into that line.
Oh,
so I don't have the option. That's why I was like, yeah, queen d4 does look pretty obvious there. But knight c6 is better, just adding the tension. Now, if I take, he takes with the bishop. I think his pieces are active. But this is possible. I was considering like knight e4 and then maybe bishop g5. But I think black should be okay. He has...
Look at this perfect symmetry if we just had a rook on h1.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So eventually I decided to take on d5. Change the structure this way. Now, if queen takes d5, he has to be a little bit careful about the bishop here.
Yeah, this looks tasty.
So I thought about knight e5 here. And he can try the old Nakamura versus Elvis U.S. Championship, where he sacks the queen for two pieces like this, but I don't think he's going to get enough. So he'd have to play queen d6, and then I can trade here. And I mean, I think white is going to be better here. I think like rook c1, and I don't know, I have a little bit of pressure. Probably black is fine though, but I don't think he wants that. So e d5. And now I played bishop c3. So we get actually a similar structure to what we discussed a little bit ago, except we've traded a pair of knights, and there's this tension of If black takes, he gets an Isolani. If I take, I leave him with hanging pawns.
So how would you evaluate this position? Do you think white still has a small plus, or do you think it's closer to equal?
I thought I'm comfortable with white. I think objectively it's always just going to be equal, like between 0.2 and 0.0. But I just feel comfortable in these positions because there's this pawn tension, and whenever black takes, I'm happy. And to me, this is a matter of who has more moves to improve their position. Because there's not going to be a whole lot of concrete lines here. It's just going to be like who's going to be able to set up their pieces first, and who's going to blunder never, right? Like who's going to blunder first, basically. Bishop f4 was also a thought. But what I didn't like here was he plays bishop f6, I play e3, and then he has g5.
Oh.
And I'm not happy with this. But usually I would want the bishop on f4 in the structure. Anyways, I like to put the bishop on c3. He played a4, which makes sense to kind of prevent b3. I thought if he plays c4 here, which is also possible, just trying to push on the queen side, I instantly play a4 and I shut him up. And then I'm careful not to move this e2 pawn because otherwise the knight can come into d3.
Right.
But I think white is fine here. I can even play b3 at some point and start targeting his weakness. Okay, but he played a4, which I think makes a lot of sense. I played rook c1. Now against bishop f6, I'm ready to just take on c5 and his pawns are weak. He played queen d6, and queen d2. If he plays c4, I'll probably just play a3. And then knight a5, I have bishop b4. So I think I'm still in control here. Okay, he just continues improving the position. Rook d8. I played rook d1. And queen e6, e3. This is all fairly standard stuff. Note that he can't really play knight a5 because I'll just take.
Right.
And he has to take with the rook, and I have dc.
Yeah, black has all this space, but it's like really hard to move beyond that. I mean, once he starts playing moves like c4, this is kind of like in the Queen's Gambit decline. You don't play a d4, d5, c4, e6, c5. Like this is not a thing.
Right. Whenever you advance a pawn, you're always giving up squares.
Exactly.
So that's black's issue. Here, if he could take bc, he'd be fine, but the rook is hanging. So, if he takes here, I'll play knight d4. I think this is a comfortable position for white. Like, even though he has two bishops, bishop on b7 is passive, bishop on g2, knight on d4 are fantastic. And he has a lot of more weaknesses than just the Isolani.
Right.
So he finds an interesting plan. He plays rook a7. Played it pretty quickly, too. His idea is bishop a8, rook to d7.
Right. He's almost stealing a play out of your book from the previous round.
Right. Ready. Must have watched the video and learned this idea. Okay, now I have a choice. I really wanted to play b3 here, with the idea to put my queen on b2 and then take dc5 and g7 is weak. And I thought this was interesting, but eventually I just found something that I liked more, which, I don't know, now I'm doubtful. But I ended up playing the move knight e1, which is a common transfer in these positions to put the knight on d3 and then f4. And I thought if I get this, I'm very happy. So he takes on d4, which is probably critical. I took with the pawn here. And I thought even though the structure is now symmetrical, I still thought that since I'm getting knight d3, rook e1 very quickly, I should have a plus because in a symmetrical position, whoever pieces are more active, especially the rooks, is usually going to have the advantage.
Right.
So I thought, okay, his pieces aren't organized to go for the structural change. I guess this line is all about the changes in the structure. But he totally proved me wrong. He played bishop a6, which I completely underestimated or missed or something. I just felt like, okay, I'm playing against this bad bishop now.
Right.
Whereas my bishop, I felt like, has a nice grip on the queen side. But he plays bishop a6, I play knight d3, and bishop c4. And here I actually realized that things aren't so easy. In fact, it might be black who's a little bit more comfortable because he has a threat on this a2 pawn. And whenever I play a3, then his bishop also is kind of locking down the queen side. d5 is never going to be weak for him. And he can consider knight a5 in some positions or bishop f6. Black is definitely comfortable here. So I should have played a3 and the game is just going to be equal. But I had a miscalculation here. Okay, I played rook e1. Oh, I'm sorry, I played bishop c4 and rook e1. So I'm getting a tempo on his queen, and here I expected queen f5. It makes sense to move the queen to attack the knight. And I didn't want to go into this because now I have two things hanging, but I calculated that I'll have knight b4 here. And if he takes, I take with the bishop. I'm hitting his bishop on e7. If he takes, I'll take here. Takes on a2, I take on b6. He plays rook a8. And I think white might have a symbolic advantage because I control the open files. Technically, I have a better bishop. But I imagine black is completely fine after putting the bishop on c4.
Yeah, the problem for you is the speed pawn is always a target. So if you can just regroup his rooks and pick it up, you're going to be in trouble. So you always have to defend it.
Yeah, I mean, black will get counterplay against the b pawn. I imagine that it's just completely equal.
Well, you have to be careful of these bishop c4 moves because rook takes c4, so it's not so simple.
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah.
bishop b3 first and then try to regroup.
I mean, I thought white should be fine. Like, all my pieces are on dark squares.
Yeah.
Bishop on g2. Actually, this is similar to my game against Keys from yesterday, where I had this dark squared bishop and all my pieces are on light squares.
Right.
I thought we would get this, and we would most likely shake hands in a couple moves. It'd just be very, very equal. And of course, I'm fine with the draw here. Like, I wanted to push, but if he's going to play solid and I don't get anything, that's fine. He's 150 points higher rated than me. Although, now I realize that I think I miscalculated, because here he does have the option to take... Oh, no, he doesn't have this. Because if he takes on a2, his knight on c6 is still hanging. So I calculated all these lines, and I thought they worked for me. But then he played queen g6, which comes with a big difference that he's defending the knight and the b6 pawn.
Oh.
So now knight b4, he does take with the bishop, and he wins the pawn.
Great.
So I looked at this position. I was trying to find some compensation, but I really couldn't, because the bishop just comes back to c4. I think he's just a pawn up. I mean, I have the dark squared bishop, but no clear threats. And the issue with queen g6... See, queen e6 was the first move I considered, and then I thought, well, knight f4, I win a tempo, and then I play a3, I'm happy. And then I started looking at queen f5, because knight f4 doesn't win the same tempo.
Right.
But here I realized, before I played knight f4, was that if I do, well, he's going to play queen h6, and then after I defend the pawn, he has bishop g5.
Oh, wow, that's really nice.
And he's going to take and double my pawns, and suddenly white is worse.
He's got an easy rook move too, rook d6, rook g6 after that.
Yes, he does. Yeah, and... Like, once he played queen d6, I realized that's his idea. And I went into the tank here and spent like 30 minutes because I'm trying to figure out like how to equalize. Now knight b4 is not working, and of course, two of my things are under attack. I considered this for a while, like in b3. But I think he just takes rook b1, and I think he just plays rook a3. And I didn't see any tricks here.
What was wrong with queen b2?
Queen b2, I think the same.
Bishop a3, maybe.
Well, bishop a3 I just take.
Yeah.
But rook a3. And everything's protected. Although I have rook e7 here, huh?
You have rook e7.
So queen b2, what was the issue? Oh, this was the issue. My queen gets trapped. Takes rook b8.
So him, rook takes e7 again?
Do I?
Well, the idea is if he plays rook b6, you have mate.
Mate, right? But what about just rook takes?
I'm trying to hope that we have enough material to just not have enough going on. But I mean, my thought is, okay, we can play queen c5, and if we can win this d5 pawn, it doesn't matter. But I think...
I'm still down in exchange.
Yeah, there's not enough.
So I have to really consider this carefully. Okay, eventually I decided that my best option is just to go for this endgame. After knight f4, he plays queen d6, which leads to the same thing. Maybe it's even better. a3, bishop g5. I played queen e3, and he played rook e7, queen f3, and now he takes.
Right.
So we trade queens.
And what's your assessment of this second game at face value?
In the game, I thought that black was pressing for sure. How many winning chances he has, it wasn't clear to me. But I thought I could be potentially huge strategic trouble here. So right away, I have to give up the file because he's starting to trade both rooks and win the d4 pawn. Mm-hmm. And so this position was more or less forced. Maybe there were some other options along the way. But yeah, I was trying to figure this out, as was he. And I just felt like I'm definitely suffering here because the pawns are weak. And specifically, he has zero weaknesses. With this bishop on c4, I can't target any of his pawns. Mm-hmm. So even though the two bishops are a very nice asset normally, here they're so passive that the knight is actually a really nice piece. Sometimes it can route to f5, or I think I felt like the best spot was to put the knight on e6.
Right.
If you can trade the light-scored bishops, he's probably just completely winning. Mm-hmm. And if you can trade, like, for example, if I play bishop b4 here, I think he's very comfortable to take. He plays some move to secure his back rank, like G6 or F6. Doesn't really matter. And I thought I'm suffering this position because now I have 6 weak pawns. 100% of my pawns are weak.
Yeah. This feels like that exercise in the newspapers where you have take every single pawn and every move has to be a capture, this kind of situation.
Right.
Well, this is not that difficult.
And then up here and yeah.
Just back around.
And then this is, I think, an endgame that I think weaker players misevaluate sometimes because they're like, oh, white has the better bishop because I can attack the d5 pawn. But this bishop also can't protect any of white's pawns. So I think this is bad for white, especially with rooks on the board. With kings, it's playable, but with rooks on the board, my pawns are way too weak. Eventually, I found a really nice plan that I think allowed me to hold this game. I played bishop f3 to stop the rook from coming in.
Right.
He played king f8, and now bishop d1. And then after the game, he told me that this was the maneuver he definitely missed. So I hit the pawn, and I forced him to play b5, which I'm happy with because now he never has any knight a5 ideas. Right. Not that that necessarily is good, but it is a thing.
It's the more options you take away at this point, the better your position can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And bishop c2. So I'm hitting the pawn on h7. Now, we weren't sure if I'm actually threatening to take it. For example, king e8 takes g6. I'm not sure if the bishop is getting out. For example, f5. I think king d7. And then if I take twice, he has rook g7.
Right.
So white has to make some other move like king g2 or something, and then we're thinking about rook e8, and the lines are pretty messy.
I feel like this is a position as white where you let black calculate takes h7, let him make his move, and then you calculate it. But you don't go into this thinking, oh, maybe I can take on h7.
No, that was my exact feeling. I thought, I'm just going to put the bishop on c2. If he plays h6, we'll play that position. I induce something. Mm-hmm. If he plays king e8, well, then I'll calculate whether I can take the pawn or not. And my opponent is a grandmaster. He's not just going to bluff king e8 in this kind of position, right? So he's going to spend time. I'm in time trouble a little bit, so he's going to spend time. If it's working for him, okay, he'll play king e8, and then if I have time, I'll calculate. Although a lot of times I'll just trust him and just keep playing, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, from a practical consideration, you don't want to play this move, and you already wasted time whether you're going to take the pawn or not.
Right.
A lot of players, they do that. They're like, oh, but I didn't want to do this because maybe I can't take the pawn. Well, the bishop is still good here, so don't worry about that. Eventually, he ended up playing h6. He felt like I could get away with taking. And now I look for counterplay. So I play king g2. So my idea is now rook g1, get the king out of the way, and I target g7. Because, of course, his plan is to start pushing his king towards the queen side, try to improve his position, eventually start maneuvering.
Right.
He needs to be really careful about not moving this knight too early because I'll always have bishop b4. So he plays king e8 and king g3. And now he has to start making decisions because I want to play rook g1 and king h4. And then he has to figure out what he's going to do about the g7 pawn. I believe he played king d7 here. Let me check.
Move 35.
Yep, king d7, rook g1. And he has a choice. If he plays f6, then I'll play king h4, and I'm actually just going to walk in. And I have a really active king.
Do you think maybe when he played h6, maybe he should have played g6, so this isn't a possibility?
Whenever black plays g6 here, he always has to contend with f5.
Yeah, but I mean, we can just play h takes g, right?
You mean when I take?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you would want to take. But I mean...
Oh, no, for sure I want to take because I want to undouble my pawns. I mean, if we get this in, then I think white starts playing for a win.
But can we start thinking about king g7, king f6, rook e8, and then playing the h-file?
Well, sure. I mean, okay, so king g7 takes. I mean, I'm going to leave my king here, so the h2 pawn is always just going to be protected.
I guess that just fizzles out, probably.
Well, no, I mean, I think white is actually more comfortable here because...
So what would be the plan?
Well, it depends on whether black plays for a win. So, like, if he puts his rook on h8, then I'll gladly take the e-file.
Well, I mean, he's going to wait. Like, rook e8 is a good waiting move.
Right, so
what I'm thinking.
Rook e8...
Well, it's white to move. So king
G2, so king g2, rook e8. Maybe I'll start with, like, rook d1 here, so this bishop can move.
Oh, okay. And king f6, maybe?
King f6, like, let's say rook d2, just secure the second rank.
Does it make sense now to play rook e2?
Or actually, maybe I can just play here, because you can't take because bishop c3.
But now don't we have rook e2?
Rook e2.
I guess you play king f3.
King f3.
Yeah. Although not, well, I guess.
Oh, sorry, this is hanging with check.
Knight takes d4, yeah.
Yeah, maybe bishop b1.
And to bishop b3.
Oh, I'm just needing stuff here. Yeah, you can come into the rook e2.
I think there's some practical problems if you don't play this correctly.
Well, here white is starting to play ambitiously.
Yeah.
If I want to just hold, I have no problems here.
Okay, so what moves would you be looking for to just hold? Because I mean, I'm trying to play rook e2.
Well, the thing is here in this structure, if you play rook e2, I just play here, and I think black has no follow up. Like bishop e3, or I'll put my king on f3 for example.
But isn't the idea for black, since now that you've defended d4, to play knight e7, knight f5 at the right moment? Or I guess you just want to trade and go to opposite color bishop game.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, okay, it always depends on what white is playing for. If I'm happy with a draw, I can always just snap on f5. That's another point of putting the bishop here, is that I'm controlling this knight f5.
So maybe the only other plan for black in that case would be knight d8, knight e6 after having a rook on d2.
But then, okay, always rook d2.
Well, with the knight on e6, I think this will be difficult, right? Because I could put pressure on d4.
Well, I'll put the bishop on e3.
I guess. Yeah, this is probably still...
I mean, I think it's just very, very drawish because black has the perfect structure to fight against the two bishops. Everything is very solid. When the pawns are fluid, the two bishops are happier. Here, black is just fully in control, and I can't trade the light squared bishops, and black is just better.
So he just waits for you to make a mistake, but probably there's not that much.
Yeah, but I think if I can exchange off one of my weaknesses, then for sure I'm comfortable here. Whether or not I play for a win depends on what he does. But yeah, if either side starts going too aggressive, then they can run into some risk. Actually, he ends up over pushing a little bit in this game. But g6 kind of makes things easy for white with this f5. Okay, going back to the game, king g3, king g7, rook g1. Here he played g6. So I think if I play f5, he might want to play g5. Yeah. So I start with h4. And now I'm threatening some kind of breakthrough on the king side, either f5 or h5.
Right.
And what's nice here is that my king actually gets pretty active.
Okay, do you think the black king is misplaced to have come all this way to d7?
Well, he's still trying to win, basically. If he keeps his king on g7, I think he has probably no problems, or on f6. But he wants to put his king on d6 so that d5 is secure, or maybe even c6 is perfect. And then he can even start maneuvering with the bishop.
Okay.
If he gets too handsy with the bishop, then at some point I play bishop d3 and b5 is a problem, or even b3. So he has to be very, very, he has to be like a snail here in terms of making progress. But I think I did the right thing for white, where I'm getting counterplay. I don't want to just sit in this.
Well, I mean, it looks like your position went from, it looks like before this bishop f3, bishop d1, you might be slightly worse, but now if anything, it looks like you're the one.
I mean, I think I'm fine here. At this point, I'm still very happy with the draw, but I think the worst has passed. If he had something, it was probably earlier.
Right.
That said, the game gets really, really sharp. Okay, he played rook e2. I played bishop d1. He went back to e8. I thought about stuff, but I don't think I have anything better than just playing bishop c2. Here he thought for a while again. He plays rook e2, bishop d1, rook e6.
Yeah, so we should probably explain to our viewers what just happened here, because for some of them it might just look like we tried to repeat but didn't know the square stick with the rook on.
Yeah, so he's repeating moves, maybe to get to the time control.
Yeah, it's move 37 for those of you at home who aren't keeping count. But I mean, this is also kind of interesting because the first time, the rook's not ideally placed on e7. So at first he puts it on e8. The idea being that if you break through, you can put the rook on e8. But then he realizes, okay, when the bishop goes to c2, like my rook can't do that much. So he does this again and puts it on e6, where it's supporting the 6th rank.
Yeah, and actually the rook is strongest here for his next reason. I played bishop c2. I considered h5, f5. Nothing was really working for me. For example, like this kind of makes sense. Like, let's say bishop c2, knight e7, king f4. Maybe my rook comes to g7, my king is active. I wasn't sure. He always has rook e2 in this position. So I have to be careful about leaving the f2 pawn unprotected.
Right.
But I just thought, okay, bishop c2, I'm threatening f5, and here he plays f5 himself. And so the reason he needs his rook on e6 is because my next move is obvious, h5.
Right.
And now he's more ready to deal with this break. After the game, he said this was kind of unnecessary. He felt like if I just do nothing with some move, not sure which move, maybe king f3. He said he's not really wanting to play h5 here himself because then his structure is fixed. He has a weakness on g6, and he felt like it'd be very, very hard for black to play for a win here.
Right.
I kind of agree with him, but my style is that I don't want to sit and hold the fortress.
Right.
Even if I feel like I'm probably fine here, because we have 30 minutes left, I'm going to spend time on every move. Eventually, we're going to get down to like 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
He'll find some trick, and I'll have to defend accurately. I'd rather, if I see a good way to make counterplay, I'd rather go for that.
Right, and you have to be careful here because he might have this idea of like maybe playing like knight a7, knight c8, knight d6, and then put his knight on e4.
Put his knight on d6 or f6.
But you have to be careful f6 because of the g pawn.
Sure, but you know, he has all the time in the world. Bring the king back to f7, put the knight on f6, g4. You know, I just don't want to like have to calculate all these stupid knight jumps.
Right. I feel like if you were to just study this endgame, you're like, of course, this is a job, but in a practical game where you're playing a GM, and you want to make sure you get that result. You know, you have to calculate.
I mean, the computer will always say 0.0 until I blunder.
Of course, the water is pot until but that doesn't mean the stove isn't turned on, as we've been saying.
Yeah, so I played h5 not because I'm going reckless, but because I think I can create counterplay. And as we will see in this game, if he's not careful, I might get some winning chances myself. Okay, so here, obviously he can't take. I have bishop f5. He has a couple options here, but I think knight e7 is far and away the best move to protect f5 and g6. I can take here. He takes with the rook. I play king h2. I wasn't sure if I want to go into this endgame. Before the structural change, so if we have, let's say, pawn on h4, pawn on g6 here, I'm very happy to trade rooks.
But now he has an outside passer.
Now he does, yeah. So he'll put the king here. He'll play knight g6. Even if I get I'll get my king to g3.
You have to be
wary of h5 and h4.
Bishop e2 ideas as well.
And bishop comes to e2. I'm not exactly sure how happy I am here. So I do want to trade rooks, but not if he gets this outside pass pawn. I mean, technically he's a pawn up because my pawns are doubled. So instead, my idea was to play king h4. So now I'm threatening to take, and then eventually maybe my king gets to h5. And if he, let's say bishop e2, I thought was a very natural move. If he takes with the knight, I have the simplifying tactic.
Oh, this is nice. Bishop takes f5.
And we're going to get opposite color bishop endgame. Neither side can win.
Right.
I'll be a pawn up, but it doesn't matter at all. Against bishop e2, though, I actually wasn't going to take because he has rook takes g6. Oh, sorry, I was going to take. My original thought was to take here, but again,
bishop takes f5 first.
I thought so, but that's a nice way to blunder it because knight takes the check.
Oh,
yeah. But that would be good. Bishop takes f5 check. I win the game. Knight f5. I resign.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get the same endgame here. Takes, king g3, and king e6.
Sure, arguably it's better than before because you save time.
Yeah. But no, I came up with a nice idea here to play rook g3 is possible. Rook e1 is also very interesting. The point being is now I'm getting the e-file, and if he plays bishop c4, I always have bishop b4. The knight is hit, f5 pawn is hanging. Yeah. This is the main source of counterplay that helped me draw this game, is that I'm always targeting this knight and hitting this f5 pawn. Rook g4 check never really leads to much here, or I can go to h5. So I thought this was... There's one nice idea here. If he gives check and plays bishop f3, bishop b4, bishop e4, I have f3. And black resigns, because e7 is hanging and game over. So that's what I was planning on. He ended up taking. And here I almost blew the game. My original thought was to play bishop b4. So again, I can trade and take on f5. But then I realized he wants to play rook e2, bishop d1, and not rook f2 because I have rook g7. And then he takes with check. I take here. He plays here. I think I play bishop c2. And then I'm going to take on f5 next because of the knight is pinned.
Right.
So white is totally fine there. But instead, Actually, in the game, this wasn't his plan. He has another move. But instead, what's really wrong with this is that he has rook takes b2.
Oh.
And after rook g7, he's going to swap on b4.
Oh.
Plays a3. Now, the pawn doesn't promote, like rook g1, for example, a2. But I think this is really instructive. Let's say even bishop takes h5. But he plays knight c6. So my rook is tied to a1, and all of my pawns are weak.
I feel like he just has to get his knight to b1 and then you're lost.
Well, I mean, I'm lost regardless. He can either win immediately with like knight here, knight c2, or he can win the slow way by just like taking all my pawns because my rook is passive, puts his king on e6 or king on f6. I have no passed pawns, no counterplay. White is just lost. So that wasn't working for me, unfortunately. So I just took on h5 with the king. I realized this is also okay for white. Or I should say only this is okay for white. Now I was expecting rook e2, bishop d1. Sorry, I played bishop b1, which I think is stronger to keep pressure on f5.
Right.
And here I was expecting rook takes f2, I take here, rook takes f4, he wins a pawn, but my king gets very active. King g5, rook f2, king f6. And the threat of rook g7 means white is totally fine here. Like here, I'll play rook g7, then I'll trade everything, take the f5 pawn, and I'm fine. If f4, I mean, he has to be careful. Like I have bishop f5 check, bishop b4, I mean, I can get the initiative here very easily.
Right.
But he finds a very creative idea to keep the initiative, but it ends up being not good. So he plays king e6. And I thought, okay, that's an active move. I took. And if he plays rook f2, I thought I have king g7 here. And if he takes here, then again, I get the check, and my king comes to f6, and my king is super active, and his knight just runs out of good squares. So I thought, okay, I'm totally fine here. And then he shocks me with this move, king f6.
Oh, he's trying to checkmate you.
He's trying to checkmate me. Out of nowhere. All I did was put my king on h6. I mean,
I feel like this is the usual idea.
And here I was thinking that we're like friends. Like we work together, you know, we play, we're always very nice to each other. And suddenly he puts his king on f6 in my time trouble. And I'm like, what's this all about? As it turns out, he actually missed. So if I play bishop b4, he takes here. And, okay, I can trade and even take here. But I think black is usually better in this kind of position because he has so much counterplay on the queen side. My f-pawn, it feels very slow for white.
I always play rook f2.
Yeah, I just think this is very, very bad for white. So of course he's hoping for that, but I ended up finding the only defense, rook g2. Actually a very simple move that he missed.
Right.
But actually kind of obvious, like, it's not so surprising that he missed this move because it's not, it seems obvious just defending the pawn, but it actually, to me it's very counterintuitive because it looks like the rook is super passive.
Right.
But unfortunately for him, he has no way of getting to the h-file. It's all covered.
So he can't even move his knight and play like rook e8?
So the problem is when he moves his knight, I always get rook g6. And then I take on f5. And if I take on f5, my bishop is still here, then I'm good.
So I guess the problem is that black actually doesn't have that many good moves besides like
well,
playing king by e6.
It's the two bishops, you know, they just like, they control everything. So after rook g2, he realized he's actually, not only is he not better, but he's worse. I'm up a pawn, and my king is active. And all my weaknesses are covered. So here, actually, I start playing for a win. Unfortunately, I'm not really able to do that. Like, he played rook e6, and I thought after bishop b4, I'm very, very close here. For example, if he plays knight c6, then I win immediately. And king b6. Knight b4. I don't have to take right away, but I can. And this is winning for white. Now we have this same color bishop endgame. He has no breaks. I have no weaknesses.
The funny thing is, we looked at it in endgame almost exactly like this pawn structure. The difference was that there are rooks on the board. So it's amazing how little can change. I think your king was on g1. I think this was another deciding factor. Active king, active pieces. Sometimes I trumps pawn structure.
It's the it's the pieces that are left on the board.
Exactly.
With rooks on the board, I have 5 weaknesses. Here, I have 0. Black has 3 weaknesses.
Right.
And this is just lost for black.
You can take back to my same color bishop ending against Alina in round 3 as well for more on these kind of same color bishop endings.
Exactly. So I'm already feeling like, oh, I actually have huge chances here. If we trade rooks, I think the game is over because I can always take and then I win the f5 pawn. And then the power of two bishops just shows itself beautifully.
Right.
He ends up finding the only defense. If he plays king f7, I'll just play king h7.
Right.
And then I'm throwing rook g7 check, trade everything, win the f5 pawn, win the game.
Right. And you can't play knight g6 because bishop f5.
Right, yeah. So then he finds the only defense, rook e2, which I completely missed. I thought I would have rook g7 here. And then when he moves the knight, I give check, king goes back, and then, well, knight is hanging.
Yeah, knight is hanging.
After rook g7, I'm just starting to take the knight, and his knight just has no squares. Like knight c8, I give check, I take on f5, and his knight is hanging again.
Right.
But he has a miracle here, as Kramnik would call it, when he's trying to win and doesn't get it. He can take on b2, and even though I take on e7 with check, after king e6, my bishop is trapped.
Oh.
So I was looking at this for so long, just looking for a way to like set up, I don't know, some kind of mate, like rook g7, king f6, and there's no mate in sight, because he's always threatening mate himself.
From a practical point of view, I mean,
yeah.
You said that rook e6 was his only move when the bishop was on c3. At some point here, did you just consider, okay, let's repeat the position once and then let me get the 30 seconds and think more?
Well, that's what I did. Like, I played bishop b4, rook e2, I went back, but the 30 seconds didn't help because I couldn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought about, okay, let's just play king h7, it's your turn. But, you know, he just puts his rook on e2, and I just couldn't make progress here. His rook is too active.
Right.
Yeah, so this would have been the only way to try, but I think concretely is working for black. So we repeated bishop c3, bishop b4, agreed to a draw. Yeah, I just couldn't find anything here.
Yeah, if your bishop were on any other square besides b1, I think you'd be in business. Well, but it's on b1.
Yeah, up a piece, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't work. I mean, I can take on f5, king takes, but then his king is better. He's still getting counterplay. I don't think white has any serious chances there at all.
Right.
I think the game will most likely just end in a draw here. Like bishop b4, he takes, king g6, threatening mate.
Mm-hmm.
He gives check. I go back and
now it's time to call bishop draw.
It's a draw. Yeah. So really interesting game. As you can see, I have to find some nice ideas to hold the position with the two bishops. Then he overpressed a little bit. I had some ideas, but couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that was a pretty interesting game. I mean, it felt like there was a story along the whole way through from the opening and progressing onwards. So,
this was
for a draw, that's about as exciting as you can get.
This is a pretty solid game. Yeah.
Yeah, that was certainly something else. So who are you playing today? I mean, our next game's in a little bit more than an hour.
Today I'm playing actually a friend of mine, Gudi Kjartansson from Iceland. We've never played before, but I met him a few years ago. And it'll be fun. You know, we're in contention for some prizes, so it's going to be a fighting game.
I think I'm also playing a Gudi from Iceland, but different age range.
A lot of goodies in this Iceland.
Yeah, a lot of good wonders. So I guess that's the common name here in Iceland.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, these have been some pretty interesting games. I think we went a little bit longer than usual because there were so many things going on, especially in this endgame here. I think my game also had some stuff going on, but we hope that you guys stuck along because I think you would have learned something. Maybe you made some connections with some of our previous videos.
I think they did. Yeah, I mean, if you watch this whole thing, like your elo just improved 12 points. I don't know.
12 points for every 12 seconds. There you go.
Yeah.
So a point a second every second that you stayed tuned in with us. So maybe you should have posted your rating in the comments before you watch this video and then after. And then
oh yeah, actually I am curious about that. If you are watching these videos, I'm curious what your rating is, either online rating or tournament rating, just to see what kind of audience we're getting.
Yeah, and that should give us a better idea as to like how deep to go in certain lines, or how many complications to talk about, or maybe the focus. Like if there's something that maybe you have a question for us about in the comments, we can address it in a future video, either for round 9, round 10, or maybe if we do like a wrap-up video and answer certain questions you guys may have.
Yeah,
we're trying to cover as much as we can in as little time as possible. So I'm sure we missed some things, and I'm sure we bored you at some points going so deep in detail. But yeah, of course, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer. We know that you as a viewer, you might not have 3 hours to fully understand what's going on in the game like we do when we're at the board, but we're more than happy to share it with you.
Right.
All right. Well, then until next time. Next game is round 9. We have 2 games left to go.
2 more games. Let's finish strong, guys.
We're going to finish strong, and wish us the best of luck. All right, well, this is Isaac signing off here with Kostya.
Bye, guys.